Well, I'm glad we went over some of the prayers before.
Did it help? I mean, did you notice things that you wouldn't have noticed before? I hope. I hope it helps a little. I know.
It made it easier to follow. Made it easier to follow.
Good. Is there anything that you find missing that you want specifically to deal with? Okay. Yes, Fran.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm glad I am a showgoer. I've been singing in my choir for more than 50 years. And I've been singing most of, like today's lessons, but I really didn't understand what part of the service that I was singing in and what the meanings were. And it has, because we're so busy getting the choir ready, we don't really have a chance to understand where they fit into the service.
Good for you. Yeah, you're concentrating on one aspect, and that's all you can. You have sort of a blinders, but place to open them. Move the blinders away. Good. Anybody else? Anything? Okay. All right. So I hope that if you don't have Lev Shalem Machzor, let me know. Seemed like everybody had them last week, so I'm assuming that you do. Okay, great. So have you been using this Machzor before? And if not, if yes, but the only thing I heard in our show about the Machzor, and especially because we also last week just started the Sidor Lev Shalem, is that it's heavy. The book is heavy. I don't find it so heavy, but that's what people are complaining about. The problem is because they had a lot of trouble with bindings on some of the other books they've produced. So the binding is heavier, and I think the pages are also a little heavier. So it is a heavier book, but that's all I heard. I liked it, and I like looking at some of the things on the side. Okay, now we are going, I printed out my page. Okay, so we're going to go to the candle lighting. I know we know candle lighting, and it's not so different from any other candle lighting, page 199.
Oh, you know what? I'm on a Zoom call.
Because we have Rosh Hashanah first in this Machzor.
Thank you.
And then we're going to get to so we're on page 199. Okay. Just as point of information, we one second. Okay. Most holidays we do the beginning part. Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher hiddushanu b'mitzvotav. Remember that we talked about the V and the O, even though there's no vowel underneath. It's a consonant and a vowel. It's b'mitzvotav. B'tzivanu lahadlik ner. And generally it's Yom Tov, actually. The times that it isn't Yom Tov are Shabbat, which we know, Hanukkah, and Yom Kippur. For Rosh Hashanah, it was Shel Yom Tov, but for Yom Kippur, it's Yom HaKippurim. Okay, so that's the difference for Yom Kippur. And then we say the Shachianu afterwards, and I'd like just somebody to read. It's easy, but it just... Francis, I see your face. How about you?
I'll do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Great. And the actual candlelighting bracha.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim.
Good. And in this Machzor, as in many of the Sidurim and whatever, obviously it's in brackets is what we do if it's also Shabbat. We obviously acknowledge that it's Shabbat. This year it is not Shabbat, so we don't have to worry about that detail. And the Shechianu, you say at every holiday. You can say it when other new things happen to you if you'd like to. I have a story just briefly. There's somebody who used to say it to his child every time his child did something. Child stood up for the first time, they would say Shechianu. If the child walked up the stairs, they'd say Shechianu. So they got this baby basically got trained that every time they did something, they stopped and waited for the parents to do the Shechianu. So it's just a nice memory for growing up. I also think if anybody has any say in their synagogues, I think that when the parents say the Shechianu at a bar or a bat mitzvah, that they should have the grandparents say it as well. Because I think, thank God, most parents make it to their kids' b'nai mitzvah, but not all grandparents do. So I think that should be incorporated, but it hasn't been yet. Okay, the next page we have.
Is there a translation, an exact translation of Shechianu?
Is there, what do they say here? Yeah, that's pretty close. It's pretty close. It's for letting us reach this day. That's really the thrust of it, and that's pretty close. This man hazeh, this day, this time, this moment. If they say moment, it does not necessarily moment. It's just to make it sound a little nicer, but it's a pretty good translation. Most of that they've tried in the Lev Shalem, I had said that before when we talked about the Shamnu. They've tried to make it more, still make it poetic, obviously, make it sound nice, but they've tried to make it more close of really a translation and not just make it poetic. So a lot of it you can, if you know some of the Hebrew, you can find the Hebrew and the English matching. Yes, Fran.
Yeah, you do light the Yortzeit candle before you make the candle lighting, right?
Correct. And I think it's in here. Yes, actually, in this machzor, they even show it. Actually, because they give you a prayer to say. I've never seen it before. I think it's part of trying to make the world give more spirituality to some of the things we do. That they have a prayer to say when you light the Yortzeit candle, and in general, you light the candle. I can think partly because on some holidays you can't light. After, like Shabbos, you can't light anyway afterwards, so you do all the other stuff you would do lighting before. So yeah, it makes sense that it would do before. Yeah, and yes, I just did. Thank you, Francis, for bringing it up. If you're lighting a Yortzeit candle for whoever, that would be done before. You can light a candle for everybody. We light one for our family. Unfortunately, we have a number of people that we would have to light candles for, but my parents are gone, but Barry's parents are gone, but we light one candle for everybody. Also, just as an aside to give a little bit of information, if you have a holiday that you're allowed to cook on, for example, we had Rosh Hashanah, and we will be having Sukkot. You're allowed to cook, and one of the things but you're not allowed to kindle a flame or extinguish a flame. So but you can transfer. So if you have a 2-day holiday like Rosh Hashanah, how do you light the candles for the second day? So we actually use a Yortzeit candle and have a Yortzeit candle burning. If you have a pilot light on your stove, you can actually use that because that's always on. And we use that candle, which looks like a Yortzeit candle, but it's not used as a Yortzeit candle, to light the stove and whatever when we're cooking as well. So, and that obviously would be done before you light the candle. So, thank you.
Judi, can you say that prayer one more time? The Shechianu prayer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
So it's the after the olam, the next word Sheheyanu.
Yes.
I keep on hearing He-
Do you hear chai in it? Do you hear chai in it? It was gift us in life. Grant,
Yeah.
see that where it says granting us life, you can see the chai in shehechianu. Life.
Why is it he and not hey? Isn't it 3 dots there?
Shehecheyanu.
Okay, yeah, and no one says that. They're all saying Shehehiyanu, and there isn't a he in there. I don't,
Yes, and it goes to what I had said last week probably, and I say usually, is when people read or people saying they're sloppy. And it's not, we're trying to read things exactly.
I just
But
wanted to make sure I was right on the vowels.
And you're absolutely right. Shehecheyanu. It's absolutely, they're all has until you get to the ya. Exactly, Arlene. And that's the kind of thing we should be talking about. Because yes, Frances read it beautifully and she's very comfortable with it. And it's smooth, but not necessarily looking at each letter or each vowel. And that's what we're here for. Yes, Cindy.
When my son was studying for his bar mitzvah, the Hebrew teacher actually made corrections in the Siddur on the Bethel way of saying things. Our synagogue is Bethel, and even though it was written one way, it's the Bethel way, and so you have it written that way.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because we were at Adams Jeshurun in Elkson's Park, and not only they everything they talked about was the AJ way. So I guess there's also the Bethel way.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, but we're trying here not only to know how to read the prayers, but so that we can do it other times to know exactly the way it really is supposed to be read. But that's why I said don't go crazy about it. You should feel comfortable. Okay, the blessing for the children. The blessing for the children is done, is traditionally done every Shabbat. And Yom Kippur is Shabbat Shabbatot, is the Sabbath of Sabbaths. So we also do the blessing of children before Yom Kippur. You can do it with your children when they're little, you do them when they're big. We still do the blessing for the children with both of our children who are now both parents. And every Friday afternoon, if we're not with them, we call. If we are with them, obviously that would be lovely. But wherever we are in the world, we get in contact with them and give them the bracha. Okay, and it's also usually done oftentimes at a bar mitzvah. Sometimes the synagogue will do it. Okay, so I would like to do it because I'd like you to be able to do this with your children and grandchildren. It's Birkat Habanim. The Haba note it has on the top of the page. Okay, and we know what that means. Birkat is from. You can unmute it, particularly if it's quiet in your house.
Birkat is from bracha.
Good, exactly, bracha, exactly. It's modified habanim v'habanot. So instead of saying oftentimes with Hebrew, if it's girls and boys, feminine and masculine, they'll just put the masculine. Here they wanted to make sure you include both, so they have the sons and the daughters. Okay. The most of the bracha is actually the same for both. The beginning part is different depending on whether it's male or female. For a daughter, it's Yisimach. Yisimech. I've never said this because I don't have daughters. Yisimech, Elohim, Kasara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. For boys, it's Yisimcha, Elohim, Ephraim, Kemanashe. You might notice if you look at it that it's not really parallel. Because you would think, first of all, I will tell you that the one for the boys, the males is earlier. And so you would have thought that but it does not say Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. It says Ephraim and Manasseh. Those were Joseph's children, and they say because even though they lived in Galut, even though they had names that were not Jewish names, they connected to they did not leave the fold, as it were. And that's why we use Ephraim and Manasseh. But when they decided to come up with the prayer for the girls, they used our foremothers. So whatever. And the second part is Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Okay, and that's for both, and you will recognize that that's also the Kohanim blessing. Because their parents are, serve like priests for us. Okay, so I'd like somebody to read
Judy, I'm
both.
hearing echoes. Can people be muted?
Everybody except for Rhea is muted now, for instance. Okay, now how does it sound now? Still does, right? So yeah, please, unfortunately, while I would love to have everybody unmuted the whole time because I'd like you to be able to easily respond. Excuse me. Zoom is not cooperating so well. So if you have any background or it picks up, whatever. So if you're muted, except when you speak. But I would like to ask somebody that has, we're going to do whichever one first. Somebody has a boy or a girl, any of you. So do it for the boy or the girl, depending on what you have. Or if you have both, just pick one. If somebody would read the entire bracha. Thank you, Faye. And then I'm going to have Arlene do the one that Faye doesn't do.
All right, well, I have a daughter.
Okay,
I will begin with the daughter.
good.
Yisamech Elohim Kesara Rivka Rachel V'Leah. Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yeher Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Good. Yasher koach. Okay. I don't know. Arlene, do you have boys?
Boys.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I'll just do the boys. I have I have God blood boys. Yimsimcha Elohim K'ef Reim.
Again, just wait. Stop again. Now, you can send it out, but now say it.
What's that? F Reim.
Ephraim.
Oh, right. Yeah, my
Okay.
eye. It's my
Okay,
eye.
and that has the metric, so that's why it's not Ephraim, it's Ephraim.
Friam. Okay, Friam.
Good.
The Him Nase.
Right, because the Chimenas, it's Menashe, actually. Okay.
The Him.
And in English, if you look down, if your eye talking to the English, it's Manasseh, but in Hebrew, it's Menashe.
Nase. Okay, and I'm not doing. Okay.
Okay, now finish it. No, Darlene, you're not done.
Oh,
Finish.
I'm not. Yeah, I didn't practice. Yivar Recha Adonai V'yish Merecha Ya'er Adonai Panav El Elecha V'hunecha Yisa Adonai Panav El Elecha V'yasem lecha shalom.
Good. I think it was said before too, but just you have to notice in the second line, the last words, v'yichunecha, there is a dot in the last letter. Okay. Because sometimes we don't see it, and especially like in the one before, the word before, it's elecha, and they have the vowel in it. But there's no dot. And here there is a dot, and then the vowel is underneath. So it's okay. Just you see the difference.
Yes. Thank
you. Good. Okay. Do I have anybody else that would like to read? I don't want to push you. Judith, thank you.
Yismecha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'Manasseh. She. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'huneka. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Good. Good. Any questions? Okay. All right, then they do give a little bit more stuff, which we're not going to read now because this is the basic piece. And it's actually very lovely to do it with your children. You keeps that connection. They're always your children, no matter how old they are, young or old. Okay, now we did candlelight, blessing of children, putting on a talit. I don't think we've ever done that. It's just a short blessing, but as more women are putting on talitot, I think it's important that we know the blessing when we put it on. And the Yom Kippur is the only time that we wear a talit other than morning. Usually you never, well, you will see like the Shaliach Tzibor doing afternoon services, they'll put on a talit, but it's the only time that everybody puts on a talit, not in the morning. Excuse me. But you do put it on before you do the evening service because you want to put it on when it's daylight, when it's still light out, because it says you shall see that. So you can't see it when in the days when they didn't have the electricity that we have, you didn't see them if it wasn't daylight. Okay, so some people, it says on the page, you'll notice that it also gives you the blessing for a kittle. I'm not wearing a kittle, so I don't think many of us are. So we won't do that bracha. Plus, that's only one time. The blessing for the talit every Shabbos morning or weekday morning when you do the put on your talit, you would say this bracha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu v'hitatef v'tzitzit, to dress in tzitzit. Okay, to wrap yourself. Like a lot of people will put the talit and they like throw it around, and that's like really wrapping, and then put it on. So that's what to reflect what the bracha is. And I have somebody that puts on the talit. Say the bracha. Thank you, Judi Frank, and then Judith Balmill.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahata'at
No, look at the vowels.
lahit atef b'sitzi.
Good.
I have trouble with that one word.
The hitatef.
The hitate, the tzitzi. I have to tell you, I bought my talit 3 years, well, I don't know, maybe it's more than 3 years ago, but yeah, it's probably 5 years ago, whatever. At the
We
last,
lost the 2 years of stuff.
right, so I'm trying to think how far back, at the last Women's League convention. So that's
Nice, nice.
so.
I've worn mine actually for a while since I was in Canada. I think I said that because I did the Torah service, I was carrying Torah. But I have to say, with most people I know, it really feels like you're wrapping yourself in the mitzvot. I find it very meaningful. Not obviously, most synagogues don't require a woman to wear a talit. Some do, but I think it's a meaningful commitment to take on. And Judith Balmel, raise your hand also. I'd like you to read.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef v'tzitzit.
Good. Okay, now, let's see. Taking out the scrolls. Okay, page 204. Okay. This is also that we take out the Torah. We don't normally take the Torahs out at night. When else do we take out the Torahs at night? Yes, Judy
For Kol
Frank.
Nidre, yeah.
Okay, well, this is Kol Nidre. That's this time as we're taking. That's what we're reading now. We're in Kol Nidre. But there's another time that we take out the Torahs at night. Judith, I saw your hand, and then
Sukkot.
Sukkot.
Okay, not close. Say
Torah.
what is your
Simchat
answer? Say
Torah.
what's your answer? What?
Simchas Torah.
Exactly, Simchas Torah. Okay, and actually, that is not Sukkot. It's after Sukkot. Okay, Shmini Chag HaAtzeret is the 8th day of the holiday, and then we have we're going to be in Israel, and they do both on one day because they don't have that extra day, so they're doing both on one day. But yes, that's the only. I think it's really the only. I don't think there's another time we take out Torah. And I hope that that you all go to services to Simchas Torah because it's a fun holiday. My son gave a Devar Torah, and he said he wishes that all Jews, instead of taking the 2 days as Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, would come for Simchas Torah and Purim, because they're more fun and shorter services. Okay, so we do take the Torahs out. What do you know? Why do we have to take the Torahs out on Kol Nidre? What is the symbolism of it? Yes, Judith Baumel.
I think that they're witnesses to our.
Exactly, because we're
prayer.
doing the Kol Nidre, we're doing the bowing. So the Torahs are acting as witnesses, part of the Beit Din, to listen to our commitments. Exactly. And our synagogue actually also take out all the Torahs, and they have the people march around with them before, and then just keep the 2 at the lectern with whoever is the shaliach before. Okay.
At our synagogue, it's all the presidents and previous presidents.
How do you like that? They must have gone to the same place.
Give them
Yeah.
that.
We do the same thing, yeah.
Exactly.
You do the same.
But the big fight and not fight, but this thing is everybody wants the lighter Torahs because it's thank God we have people that, women and older people that Torahs can get heavy. But yes, but it's a lovely picture, I have to say, to see all the Torahs walk around and see also the leaders of our shuls who put in a lot of time and effort in that job, be honored. Okay, so and it actually says even in some congregations, procession and carry the Torah scrolls, march around the synagogue as we repeat and we recite repeatedly as needed, depending on how big your shul is. You may be doing it a lot, and this is Or Zarua Lat Tzadik Ul Yishrei Lev Simcha. And we actually know what a lot of those words. You wanted to know what the Hebrew is. Or is light, okay, the light. Tzaddik, some of the same word, tzedakah, righteousness. Lev is our heart. And simcha, whose hearts are joyous or true. They believe that's part of it. Okay, so I'd like somebody to read, and this is obviously we usually sing this because we're gonna sing as people are walking around. I have a volunteer. Thank you, Cindy.
Or Zarua Lazadik Oyish Lev Simcha.
Perfect. Thank you. Good. Okay. Then this is an affirmation. And this is actually calling together the court, which we were talking about with the Torahs. Okay. And so we say this, and we say it 3 times. We say it out loud. Bishiva shel ma'ala uvish shiva. Oh, my phone. Sorry. uveshiv'a shel mata al da'at hamakom va'al da'at hakahal anu matirin lehit halel im ha'avi avaryanim. Not so easy to say it, okay? But it's very important. And what it says is it's calling together the court, and you can look at the English because it's very interesting to know. It's that you could say that we're allowed to pray with sinners because actually we're all sinners, so we have to. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to be praying. But so I'd like somebody to try it. You can sound them out. This is not something we read regularly, but you will hear it, and I'd like you to be familiar with it. So if somebody
Judi,
feels
why-
brave,
Why are these things done 3 times? There are so many things that are done three. Why?
yes,
Why does
yes. I think for emphasis, it's just emphasis to make sure. And I don't know exactly why. There may be something like one for God, one for this. I'm not sure, but it is a magic number. When we get to, if we get to it, and you'll do it certainly during services, when you do the 13 attributes, that's always 3 times. We did that last week. So there's a lot of stuff. There's some things we only do twice. There's some pieces that we repeat twice. And then there are some pieces that we repeat 3 times. I'm not sure if there's any specific reason for each of the 3 times. It just is. It's certainly for emphasis, but there may be another reason. I'll look into it. You forced me to learn, so I appreciate that, Arlene. So somebody that's brave, you can read one line. Okay, Gloria, thank you.
But just as an aside, we
Sure.
were taught that we blessed boys as Ephraim and Manasseh because they were 2 sons who didn't fight with each other.
That's good. I like that. I like that even better. I don't know if that's true, but I like it. It works. Works for me.
It works.
And it's interesting because I just 1 minute. I will make this fast. Our rabbi said that there's no reason why, because whichever of the reasons that I said should also apply to girls too. So there's no reason you can't do the same bracha for female children. But his wife said no. And I think I know why she said no, is because for the same reason that we say that we forget about that while the women are included, they're not mentioned. And we don't want to lose the primacy of having women as well as men, or girls as well as boys, whatever. So we shouldn't forget about the 4 mothers. So that's why don't say Ephraim Manasseh, but you say Sarah Rachel. So whichever way. But yeah, either way, they were very admirable. That's why, and for sure. And I like that they didn't argue. That's a good thing, especially if you have 2 sons. We have to tell them that. Make sure
That's
they know that.
That's what we used to tell ours.
And I have 2 sons also, so it works. Thank God they also mostly got along. So I was lucky. Okay, so are you going to read, Gloria?
Sure. Beshiva shel mala, uvishiva shel mata.
Good.
You want me to continue?
If you feel like you can,
Okay.
yes.
Al da'at
Good.
hamakom va'al da'at hakahal. Anu matirin lehit palel im ha'avar yanim.
Good. And just the one thing I want you, the word that you will know, I'm sure some of the other words, but hit palel is pray, but it's reflexive. When you pray, you're not just praying to God, you're changing yourself also. So that's the form. Okay. See again, if you turn the page, we're speaking about 3 times. If we come to it again, Arlene, because we do the Kol Nidre is done 3 times as well. Okay.
Excuse me, Judy?
Yeah.
Judy?
Yes, Judi.
On page 2 of 4, can you
Yep.
explain again about Lahit Paleo?
It's when you do something to yourself. It's the grammatical form, like you dress yourself. So when you're praying, we always think we're praying to God. We're doing this to Him, but it's not just to Him or to God. We don't want to do, if we don't want to do, we want to degenderize. It's you're changing yourself. You're doing for yourself too. It's not just out there. It's inward as well. That's the that's the form. Like when you say if you say to dress, it's to dress yourself is the form. But that's the grammatical form, and I think that's nice. I think it's a nice idea that it's not just going out, but it's hopefully going inward as well.
Inward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Kol Nidre, we're not going to read, obviously, because we don't need to, because we're not the ones reading. That's a whole nother story. But then we were speaking of 3 times again, Arlene, the leader in congregations repeat 3 times. Also, sometimes when it just makes me think when you call a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah, they say ta'amod, ta'amod, ta'amod. It's really just big emphasis. It makes it much more dramatic and impressive. Yes, Arlene.
Yeah, also, when the service totally ends, all of Yom Kippur, the last one, 3 times for next year in Jerusalem. Also.
So I mean, generally, clearly it's for emphasis. I don't know if there's any other, which I will see if I can find out, but for sure emphasis is the, okay. So, v'nislach l'chol adat b'nei Yisrael l'hager hagar v'tocham ki l'chol ha'am bishgaga. Okay, I need a volunteer. Thank you, Judith.
V'nislach l'chol adat
Wait,
b'nei.
stop. I don't.
I got it,
normally
yeah.
let you. The second word,
L'chol adat.
l'chol.
L'chol. Oh,
Okay,
because
you
of,
see the T? Okay,
yes, I did.
I just want to make sure you see it. That's all. Okay.
Thank you. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's good.
But we can, even if we look at our eyes, if you look at under l'chol and you look down under Yisrael, you can see the difference under
Right.
the resh, how much smaller it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll start again.
That's okay.
V'nislach l'chol adat b'nei Yisrael. V'lager hagar b'tocham ki l'chol ha'am bishgaga.
Good. And that's a common use. The common time you see that, by the way, is chol, because all you see a lot. And it's not kol, it's chol. Good. Okay. All right, we read. Okay, I'm gonna okay, at the bottom, the last 3 lines. Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha. And I can hear that singing in my ear, actually. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Okay, somebody that didn't read before. Anybody want to be brave and read? Faye, do you feel comfortable?
Yes, sure.
Good.
Vayomer Adonai salachti kidvarecha.
Keep going.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehecheyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh.
Good. Yes. But you would think, you would think you can't say it more than once, but you can say it more than once because we do that. We do it when we light the candles. We do it when we say Kiddush on a Chag. So you can say it more than once. But the question is, if you say it second day, like second day Sukkot or second day Rosh Hashanah, They say there's a phrase that of saying a bracha that it's not possible to say it because it's meaningless. For example, one of them is if you pray for a boy or a girl when you're already pregnant, you can't say that because it is already a boy or a girl. When you say the Shechianu, you're saying it for Rosh Hashanah. Well, how do you say it second day of Rosh Hashanah? It's the same thing. But so they say that you should have the new fruit. And that's why in a lot of observant areas, whenever it's Rosh Hashanah, where it's Sukkot, one of the reasons you see that all the fruits is so that you can say a bracha for a new fruit. Something you haven't had in a while. And they say at least a month, but it's when it's significant. So you can say Shechianu more than once, as we have done here, because we said it when we lit the candles, and we're saying it again here. Good. Okay. Now, well, let me see what time it is. 10:42. Okay, we still have time. Okay, 2:04. That's what we just read. We're taking out the Torah scrolls. Okay, 2:05. Okay. Shema. Okay, 2:08. This is done obviously on on Yom Kippur. It's done twice a day, every day, even if you don't say the Shema for going to bed. This is said twice every day, but I figure it doesn't hurt for us to read it and see what the words, how it's written also, because a lot of this we know. One thing that's not in this Machzor, that's in the Siddur, is the last letter of the Shema, the word Shema, and the word Echad in the Torah are larger, and they in our regular Siddur they show up larger. And one of the reasons they say is because Ayin and Dalet together spell aid, and we are which means witness, and we're witnesses for God. So, but here you don't see it. And what's now that we're talking about the Shema? What's the difference on Yom Kippur? Yes, Judith. What's the difference?
It's the only time we would say the second line out loud.
Kol hakavod. Exactly. And you can see it here. Actually, it makes it very obvious because in our Siddurim, the second line is usually very small, which you're supposed to say it, but to yourself. But here it's the same size as the Shema because you say it the same way as the Shema. So I want somebody else to read the first two lines, and then I'll read the rest myself first. Yes, Judi Frank.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Good.
Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Perfect. Okay. Va'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavacha b'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha. V'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shiftecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam l'ot al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visha'arecha. Okay. Somebody else want to be brave? You can read part of it or all of it, however much you feel. Arlene, I see your hand. And then Arlene and then Judi. Harlan.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'kol levavcha uv'kol nafshecha uv'kol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavocha,
No,
mitzvah.
it's tricky.
Mitzvah,
Zavaka. See, there's no dot on top, right?
mitzvah,
It has a dot in it. That's the tricky part, but yes,
what is it? It's mitzvah,
Zacha.
beha, mitzvah,
Mhm.
hayom, al levaveha,
Good.
vishi nav tam levaneha, vidi varta bam, bishiv ticha, ve ticha, uvelech ticha ba deret, uvisha becha, ukumecha, ushar tam leot al yadecha v'chayu
Stop. Just
yadecha
yeah.
v'chai
But hi, you. It's just a hey.
Hi.
Everything you did great. Okay, just want you to
you.
notice.
v'chayu litov vote thing
Ready? I didn't hear it, that word again.
litotaf vote
Perfect.
thing a necha u tav tam al mezuzot be techa uvish recha.
Fabulous.
I've never done. I'm
Fabulous.
sorry.
Aren't you proud of yourself?
Yeah, but thank you to the class for bearing with me.
Oh, but no,
I've
but you
done
read it.
before. Thank you so
Oh,
much. I
And
know.
it was,
For your
but it was
patience.
terrific. You weren't, it was fabulous.
I am so embarrassed, and I have to say, I wanted to say, because my grandson on Sunday was given the honor, I wasn't there to say the hafta. So I thought I'd try it, but I haven't done it before.
Well, you should be very proud of yourself because it was fabulous.
Thank you
You
so much.
weren't only sounding out each letter. There were some words you sounded, but it was very smooth. You should be very proud. I'm proud. I'm proud.
This is you, Judi. This is you. This is you.
I'm Sheppy Nachas, as they say in the old country. Judi, would you like to read also, please? Just so we get to hear it again, because this is a very important prayer. We should all be comfortable with it.
Okay. Va'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levacha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol ma'odecha v'hayu ha'divarim ha'ele asher anocha mitzion mitzecha. No, it's not
No.
right.
Read, pretend you don't know it. Right, go back to after Asher, pretend you don't know it and look at the words.
After Hasher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Asher Ahava Mitzvah.
Anochi. Are you in the second line? The
yes,
third
Asher
word from the end.
Anochi Mitzacha Hayom Al Levavecha V'Shinatam Levanecha V'Barei.
No, look at the letters and look at the vowels.
The Diveta.
Dividibarta. You see it?
The Dibarta.
Dibarta.
The Dibarta.
Good.
That's Ban, right?
Yes.
Ban Vashivtaha Vavetecha
Good.
Uvalechka Baderech Uvashach Decha oh boy,
Show. It's easy. It's hard to. It's some of these words, the letters, the shiz and the chuz and the whatever all together is not so easy. The shiv, vish, vishav.
Uvashav
I get v'shachbacha,
Uvashach
v'shachbacha. Yes.
Uvashach Baha Uvakumecha Ukashatam Laot al Yadecha Vahayu Latot Tafot Bain Einecha Uvahatam al Matzuzot
Wait.
Beitecha Uvish.
After the two dots, I lost my place. After the two dots, the fourth word from the end.
Okay. Uhatavatam al
Tav tam.
Uftatam al Matzuzot Beitecha Uvish Arecha.
Good. When you sing it, it's easier. And you're trying to get to the singing part, but I want to make sure that we really know how to read it, because in case we have these words someplace else, that we can read it. But
I can't, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what to
It's not-
say.
There's nothing to say. And you should be proud that you're reading. You should be, the more you read it, the more you look at it. What happens, because we think we know it, we just sort of sing it and don't look. And I have to tell you, there have been words that when I looked at the word and I realized that I was saying it totally wrong, because I thought I knew what it was. Right.
Exactly.
So that's why even the prayers that we really know, or we, many of us know, we have to read, even like the Shema, the first line even, because we don't know what we're reading. We just know it, but we're not reading it. And if we want it, if we're really going to learn how to read, not just do a particular prayer, that's what we have to do. So thank you. Thank you. And this is,
Thank
you know,
you.
as Arlene has learned, this is a safe place, and none of us are perfect, or we wouldn't be here, or none of us is perfect altogether. No human being is perfect. And we only learn by doing whatever it is we're doing. So thank you. Okay,
Thank
it is
you.
now. Okay, we have a couple more minutes. We're not gonna leave this. Does anybody else want to read the Shema? I won't force you into it, but if you'd like to, I'd be more than happy. Okay, I see no hands raised. We will move on to page 212. Okay, this is the Chatzi Kaddish. Oftentimes, there are many Kaddishes, as we know. There's a Chatzi Kaddish, there's a Kaddish Shalem, there's a Kaddish Rabbanan. So a Kaddish Yatom, which is the mourner's prayer. So there's lots of them. A lot of times, most of it is done by the Shalach Tzibor. Some, when we sing, we actually do sing a lot of it. And I just think because it's such a common prayer that we should know how to read it. So we are going to do the Chatzi Kaddish. It's halfway down. I saw at the top, but then I realized it says on Shabbat, and we're not Shabbat. So when we after the holidays, we're going to go back to Shabbos, and we'll do some of these things that we're not doing now. The Chatzi Kaddish it's known as the partial Kaddish or the half Kaddish. Yit Gadal v'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Ba'alma Di Bara Hirute V'Yimlich V'Yamlich. I was reading V'Yamlich Malchute V'Chayechon Uvyomechon Uvchaye Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Uvizman Kariv V'Yimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba V'Varach La'olam Omei Omaya Yit Barach Yit Shtabach Yit Pa'ar Yit Ramam Yit Naseh Yit Hadar Yit Aleh Yit Halal Shemei Dikudsha Berichu La'ela Mikol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbachata V'Nechamata the Amiran, the Amma, the Imru, Amen. One of the things that's different in here from the regular, any of the regular Kadishes, is we say La'ela Ula'ela, higher and higher. And usually by the end of the 10 days, I remember to say both words. It takes a little while. If you're not looking at the book and you're used to knowing, it's a little tricky. Okay.
What does the yit mean continuously? Yit, yit, yit.
Oh
yit,
yeah,
yit.
the future tense.
What
Future tense, because the future tense, because we're talking about May. Okay, it's a grammatical. Yeah. Okay. Do I have somebody? Yes, Cindy.
I have a question, how is this different than the mourner's Kaddish?
It's not very different. I'm not sure if it's different at all. I have to look and see. I actually think there is the Oseh Shalom B'Mama. The last part is different. Next week when we do it, let me see. I could find it now if I wanted. I'm sure we could find it. The problem is
That's okay, I just was.
yeah, it's not very different. It's a little. But 1 second, I will find it. The one that's the most different. What's the hardest one? Anybody? The hardest one to say is the Kaddish de Rabbanan, the scholar's Kaddish. That's the hardest one. The Chatzi Kaddish and the okay, this is Kaddish Shalem. Okay, Aleinu. Wait, 196. Okay. My pages won't turn. Okay. Yes, I was right. Okay, let's see. The Yehei is this. Okay, the Yit Gadal is the same. Yehei Yit Barach, but you add Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen Oseh Shalom V'Mirmav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. That part is added. Okay. So the shortest one is the Chatzi Kaddish. The next one is the Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. The next one is the full Kaddish. And then the one that's the most is the scholar's Kaddish. And we'll do some of the other ones later, especially because we'll do them out loud. And we'll do the mourner's Kaddish next another time when we're doing the service. I will do that. We'll do that. We should. But if you know this, it's good because it's in the other one. So do I have a volunteer? Cindy? No?
I'll
No?
try.
Okay,
I'll try.
good.
Okay. Yit Gadol, the Yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, the Alma, D, the Ra, Here Ute, the Yamli, Malkute, Bihayekol, Uvyomekol, Kon, Uvhaye, Dekol, Bat.
No, look.
Bait.
Good.
Bait.
Good.
I'm using a magnifying glass. I lose my place.
Good.
Okay.
That's working.
Yisrael, Ba'agala, Uvizman, Karim, the Imru, Amen. Yehei, Shamei, Rabbah, Mivarach, Le'alam,
Yes.
All may,
Good.
all Maya.
Good.
Is it still going on? Okay.
Perfect.
Is it done or the next 3 lines?
No, one more paragraph. You can
Okay.
do it. You're doing great.
Yit Barach, the Yit Tava, Bah,
Yeah.
the Yit Ha'ar, the Yit Roman,
Fabulous.
V'yit Naseh, V'yit Hadar, V'yit Aleth, V'yit Halal, Shemay Kidda Shah.
The Kuj. Who? These are the
Right.
three dots.
V'kud
You don't
Shah,
usually see that. That's very unusual. There's not very many times you see that. Yeah.
V'kud Shah, Barith, who, Allah,
La'ela.
yes, La'ela,
Good.
Nicole, Nicole
Look
Barkata,
at the dots underneath.
the
Yeah.
Bear Kata,
Perfect. Perfect.
the Shira Ta, Tushbahata, the Nechmata, Gamira Ran, Baalma, the Imru, Amen.
Amen. Yasher Koach. No, Cindy, that was terrific. Cindy, that was fabulous. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
You could not have done that 6 months ago.
No. No, I
It
couldn't.
was wonderful. Thank you. Okay. As I said, I try to be conscious of the time. So we are at after 11 o'clock. I want to wish everybody a good new year. One of the things you say now is Gamar Chatima Tova, that you should be written for a good year. And please God, we'll be together next Friday. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and an easy fast. And we'll see you next week. And I will put in the message I sent, because after that, I will be gone for 2 weeks. I will be in Israel because we're going Chol Hamoed Sukkot. But we will be together next Friday, God willing. So please, God. So
Okay.
enjoy being with your families.
Thank you.
Remember, you're supposed to eat a big meal before Yom Kippur as well as after. That's part of the
Yes,
deal,
ma'am.
actually. That's part of the halakha, is you have to have a good meal before Yom Kippur. So, and may we all be written in the book of life for a good year. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everybody. Good
Yeah.
night.